everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel. Today I was going to just do an eye tutorial and then I ended up filming my entire face. But I know I haven't filmed my entire face in months and months, probably since September, I want to say. The way I do my face makeup is the same, same routine. I just use some different products, so that's why I was more opted to actually show you. It's so weird because I posted this look on my beauty Instagram, and because I use Flash for all my looks, it looked very peachy pink, but it's actually a purple duochrome eye look. It might still look peachy on camera, but it's definitely a very light, lavender purple and a little bit of peachy in person. So I used the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. I have quite the collection of palettes, and I know that so many things are coming out right now, also in 2018 that came out, and I think a lot of palettes came out, an over amount, although most of them are beautiful. But I think we as content creators, when we see a palette or get a palette, not that I get PR, but if I were to buy a palette, it's people move on to the next palette very, very quickly, which I get because there's so many things coming out and you want to find really good ones. But if we buy the palette, then it's okay, what do we do now? Because now everyone's on to the next thing, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to do this thing on my channel where I take older palettes and I start creating more tutorials with them. I still use newer palettes very frequently. Some that I use frequently have come out years ago, the Tartelette 2 in Bloom is die hard favorite palette, my go-to palette. I always travel with it. But anyway, so when my mom got this palette years ago, she didn't end up liking it. I feel you have to be very patient with the blending. Not saying all the shadows are bad. I've only tried this palette a few times, maybe 3 or 4, but I really love this palette. As you can see, I created a really nice look. I only used 3 shadows from this palette and then 1 from the Dose of Colors Izzy and Katie palette. I just really like this look. Yeah, so I just want to start using older palettes because I know a lot of people have them and don't really know what to do with them, especially if they're colored, because this is definitely a colored palette. And what kind of inspired me actually to do this tutorial today is my friend Heather, and I know she has this palette because I know when it came out she diehard wanted it. I remember when I first did this look on January 5th this year, she was like, please let me know when you film a tutorial with it. So this one is dedicated to you, Heather, because I know you love this palette, and pinks and purples look amazing on her skin tone and on her eyes. I mean, I don't see her that often. I know she doesn't wear makeup a ton, but I know she loves playing around with it and it looks so good on her. And I miss you, by the way, and I love you. Those are the 2 palettes that I used. Everything will be listed in the description box as far as what's on my face. Brushes, not so much. Any brush questions, if I didn't mention it, you can just leave a comment down below, just because it shortens up my description box. I hope you stick around, and let's get on with the video. Always take the OG Sephora number 14 Pro Shadow Brush. This is my go-to setting my base brush. It's just perfect. I have 2 of them and they still look brand new. So I'm going to be taking the first shade in the palette, which is Desert Sand. Well, this palette has a bit of kick up, however you want to call it, but I'd rather have it be like that and not be pigmented whatsoever. So we're just going to set my other eye. So just like my last tutorial, this base shade has a bit of a yellow undertone. This is a skin tone shade, but it actually helps blend the shadows very nicely. It sets my primer very well. There are some parts of my eyelid or eye area that can't grab shadow for whatever reason, so if you see a sparse area, that's why. I know that's been happening to a lot of people recently actually. I'm gonna take this Eco Tools flat shader brush, and I've had this brush since high school and it still looks brand new. I guess maybe I just take really good care of it. Then I'm gonna go into more rich warm brown shade called Amber. This is where you need to have a lot of patience to blend and just applying it, because we're packing the shade onto the lid and it's okay to get kind of messy because we're going to end up blending it out, but you need to have a lot of patience for this shade. So just putting that out there. So I start in the middle and see how much pigment that has. Wow. And then I kind of just blend outward. Try to be careful in the inner corner. I mean, this flat shader brush, I wouldn't say it's like completely flat. I feel like it's like a little bit of a thicker flat shader brush, but it works wonders for like when I do this type of technique for bases. So on my Instagram, I labeled this tutorial beginner / intermediate. Like, it can be a beginner look. I mean, it might look intermediate on camera. It's a more quick type of tutorial. If I wasn't talking, this would be extremely fast, because this only took me like 10 minutes, honestly. I believe I said intermediate only because of the blending and the patience that you need to have, mostly just for packing on the shadow, but also blending it out, because when I first did this, when I was going to work one time, like, it took me a while because it's just a look that I came up with on my own, and so it took a while because I wanted to make it look like really good. So there's that. So we have the shadow all packed over there. Then I will take this Morphe tapered crease brush. If you ever see me use a brush that looks like this in my videos that came from a set, they just don't sell it anymore. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to, with a really light hand, like diffuse this into the crease, but not like all over my crease. I just want it to be very soft. What helps the blend is not raising your eyebrows when you do it, because when you raise your eyebrows, whatever the product is, and then like you put them down and like you don't see the product anymore. I don't know if that made sense at all, but I used to do that and I was like, oh my god, why are all my looks like turning out so weird? Oh, you know what? I actually went in with this brush. It's still a Morphe brush, it's just from the Jaclyn Hill collection, a JH30. I kind of just go over everything. Once again, not putting that shadow too high in the crease. If you want to make this face more pigmented, you can go back in with more shadow. That's not my main focus for this eye look. Also, you would be so proud of me. I'm filming when someone's home. I did it in my last tutorial. Yeah, I'm getting better. Like my last tutorial, and like I always do, taking my simple makeup wipes. I'm just cleaning up this outer part. It's probably gonna get more messy, but this is bothering me. I'm going to be using my ring finger and placing the shade Twilight all over my lid, which is like this like bluish purple duochrome shade that you see. And I always like shake my finger a little bit just to get like the excess product off. So start in the middle and then blend out. Now the face makeup that I'll be wearing, recently discovered my Jouer High Coverage Essential Foundation that I bought last year. Actually, maybe my mom bought it, I don't know. I think she bought it, but it's so matte, but I was able to make my face look super dewy the other day when I wore it to work. Got a lot of compliments on like how hydrated and like dewy my face looked without it looking oily. So I'm gonna be doing that. I'm also using different setting spray. Just packing that all over the lid. Looks so pretty. I think I did end up using this when I was like diffusing out the crease, but I'm gonna take my Sigma E38 diffuse crease brush right there. And it's like a very narrow crease brush. The words that we use to describe brushes, so funny. So I'm just gonna go kind of like lightly in my crease. I know when I did this on this eye, I had to go back in with this main shadow, but it didn't bother me. I just want to make sure everything looks very seamless and diffused. There's no harsh lines at all. Sometimes when I film a makeup tutorial and I'm editing, and I'll be like, oh my god, I missed that spot. Anyone else ever do that who films their own YouTube videos? Still took my ring finger and I dipped into Nerfetti. So I didn't really like the way this came out in my inner corner, but it does lighten up my inner corner, so I wanted to show you like what it would look like on top of another glitter shadow in this palette, because I didn't really like the outcome, which is actually why I went into a Desi and Katie shadow. I haven't tried every single shade in this palette. I just feel like the Twilight shade is like a different finish of glitter, but I feel like they didn't really layer well, so I just want to put that out there. So as we can see, it did lighten up the inner corner, but it wasn't enough for me as in like sparkle wise. This is the Dose of Colors Desi and Katie palette. It's one of my favorite palettes because of one shadow. I'm not really a huge fan of the mattes. They actually come out kind of orange on me because I'm so fair. Desi and Katie, well, Desi, her skin is just a tad bit deeper than mine. Katie, I know, is like kind of fair, but I know it doesn't look super orange on her. This one, it looks a bit orange on me. So I'm going to take the shade Just a Kiss It's my favorite shade. You can literally see dents in it because I use this all the time. It transforms every single eye look that I use it with. That's what the shade looks like. It may not look like much, but when you see it on camera, like, the difference is nuts. Okay, I don't know how well or how intense this is coming out on camera, but in person it's like boom, very sparkly. I'm going to clean up my under eye again. See any like orange discoloration? It's from my Cosmetics by My Redness product. It completely blocks out your redness. It's crazy. It just does it so well. I think I wiped off a little bit, so I'll retouch it. Oh, this looks so good. I'm gonna curl my lashes. I didn't mention it, but this is a Sephora eyelash curler, and I'm super sad, and I say this in every video, but they don't carry this anymore. I carry two similar ones, but these little black rings in here is mainly the reason why I love it, because it's like very easy to like hold and grip. So I'm gonna be taking my Tarte Cosmetics Mint Eater, and like I mentioned in my other video, this is a brush tip eyeliner. I find it to be like 10, maybe 10,000 times easier than actually a felt tip. I feel like for some reason felt tips, yeah, they're easy, don't really like go into gel that much, but I always struggled with felt tip for some reason, so I really like this brush tip. If you saw my last tutorial, which I'll link up in the cards, it just glided on like super easily. This one, it's not like super duper straight, it's like pretty good, but because I have a lot of wrinkles, like little teeny tiny wrinkles that kind of like are in a cluster, actually both ends of my eyelids, it makes it very hard to like make a super smooth straight line. It's not super smooth, but I'm not going anywhere, so it doesn't bother me too much. So then I'm taking the Benefit Cosmetics Bed Gilping mascara. It's travel size. Now I'm going to take the new product that I actually featured in my last video, which is the Benefit Cosmetics Roller Eye Bright Pencil. It's part of their like roller lash roller collection. This is just for their waterline. It's waterproof and it's a soft pink. I think it is so good. You can of course use black liner, but doesn't look good on me anymore in my waterline. It actually makes my eyes look smaller, and like I've tried it when I'm tan, when I'm pale, but it just looks so harsh on me and actually ends up ruining my eye look, so I stopped doing it. Like once in a while I'll do it, but if I feel confident enough that it won't ruin my eye look, then I'll do it, but most part I don't. I'm gonna touch up my Bye Bye Redness from my Cosmetics. My mom got this 3 years ago. I'm just hitting the bottom right there. So this is the original shade, but I just started using it the past year, and I'm trying to actually go through it. Like, I don't want to waste it and throw it out or give it to someone. I mean, I could give it to someone, but I'm already like to here. Oops, I didn't mean to put it there, but it's fine. They came out with 2 new shades, Porcelain Beige and Light Beige. I would definitely get Porcelain. That's the lightest. I know it would match my skin tone best. Because I guess you can actually wear this alone, but I wouldn't use it in place of foundation because it's a correcting cream, so the consistency is going to be a lot different than an actual foundation. I don't ever put anything on my nose because product breaks up really quick over there. I also don't cover up acne because I'm human, and I've kind of forced myself not to cover up my acne, like really like spot conceal, because I think putting extra product on it actually makes it 10 times worse, and then it takes longer to actually go away and heal. Now I'm gonna go into the JEBeauty Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation. Now this is the lightest shade that they have. It's in Pearl, and it's still a little bit, just like a little bit deep on me. Not like super deep, it's a little bit, it's just a tad. It's like a hair. This comes out super thick. It's super matte. You'll see the full coverage in a sec. It brushes for Ulta Airbrush Complexion number 77 brush, my favorite one. This gets around the nose super easily, and I'm gonna use more too. So you can kind of see like there's a little bit of a difference, but when I put on blush it kind of distracts, so it's fine. I did not mean to put it there. Too bad I'm not gonna work because this would look killer. Oh, such a good song. So right here I have a little bump. So I didn't miss product there. It's just a bump. Look how, oh, this looks so good. As you can see, it's very, very, very full coverage. I'm gonna go into my IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Eye Lift in a tube. So if you've never seen this product, it's the exact same product and formula as the regular Bye Bye Under Eye in this smaller new packaged black tube, but it has the concealer on one side and then it has the brightener or illuminator on the other side. No shimmer, no glitter, just like a natural subtle glow. It actually does really brighten up the face. I've used this part, the illuminator brightener, as my concealer, but it's more like a sheer to medium coverage, not so much full, I would say, if you're using it as your under eye concealer. So just a heads up, this is full coverage, anti-aging. So I use the brightener to brighten up the other areas of my face, like my forehead, bridge of the nose, my chin, just because when we put concealer underneath our eyes, I don't know if I ever mentioned this in a video, but when we do that, everything else on our face looks flat and just like not a lot of dimension going on. So we just want to like really balance everything out, especially when we do our contour, bronzer, blush, highlight, everything. It just makes a lot of sense when you do it that way. Do what you want to do. Also, this is 10 times easier to apply than the normal version because it has a doe foot applicator. I also highly recommend setting this concealer because a lot of the IT products, like the liquid and cream products, have a tackier finish and texture. So let's say you touch your under eye and you don't set it, you may think it's not transfer proof, but once you set it with the right powder, I set it with an IT Cosmetics powder because it's talc free and it doesn't make my under eye drying, then you're good, then you're all set. But also the difference when I'll put the setting powder on one side and just like compare it to the other side is like insane. The difference is insane. Okay, now I'm taking the brightener side. I didn't even tell you what brush I was using. This is the IT Cosmetics Blending Concealer. I believe it was $22, and I prefer it more than a flat shader brush because I feel like with a flat shader brush I'm like blending and patting forever and ever and ever, and this just does it all in like under 30 seconds. So that's what I like about it. Oh, and this is in the shade Light. I think I used to use Fair, but my Ulta only had like Light, or at least we only sell Light. I think they only sell Fair online. I'm going to take one of those Morphe brushes that was in a set. It's like this super big fluffy blending brush, and I switched back to this to use for my setting powder because the Jaclyn Hill one that I was using, it was just like too big and it's a little bit more dense than I thought. And I think every single time I use it, it like didn't hit all the areas underneath my eye, so like sometimes I'll go like this and it was like still very tacky. This just like does it for me. So taking the IT Cosmetics by my Pores Poreless Finish Airbrush Powder. It's a Silky HD powder. It's made with real silk. It's the only powder out of their powders that's made with silk. Feeling difference is different, and if it looks too wet on your face and you're using too much, so I don't normally put that much in there, but I was talking, I'll just pat this underneath the eye like so. Like I said, this is talc free, so talc is used in a lot of powders, especially setting powders. I can't use the Laura Mercier one because it's just like way too drying for my skin, or at least my under eyes anyway. Can you see the difference? Like it's more matte than shiny, but like it smooths out the complexion is what I'm trying to get at. And actually, this isn't super expensive. I mean, super expensive powders to me would probably be over 30, but this is actually $24 and I've had it for over a year. I'm not even near the end. You don't really need a lot with this powder at all. Using really good skincare, ones that work for your skin type and your face, that's the best way for your makeup to actually look good on a screen and also in person. It's like literally the best way. You could use the best foundation in the world. If you're not taking care of your skin right, it's not going to look good. Okay, so I normally use the IT Cosmetics You Sculpted palette, but I hit pan on that shade months ago. The more I dip into it, the less product I have, of course. So I went into Sephora recently and I was looking for like a singular contour shade, one that wasn't in the palette, because I'm not the type of person to just like go buy the same palette for that like one shade, because The It one is 40 bucks, which I think is around the same price or cheaper than other contour palettes, but I'm like, Like, I also hit pan on like another shade. It was the Radiance highlight, but I don't use that as often as I did. So of course, the Sephora employees know my mom and I. One of the girls, she brought me over to the Sephora collection. It's actually in their blushes, which we both thought was really weird, but it's actually around the same shade as the light contour in my You Sculpted palette. So looks like this. There were two. This was the warmer version. There was a cool version, but the cool version was way too cool. Actually would have looked gray on me. This is kind of hard to open, but it's actually a very pretty contour shade. And I've only used it once, so I'm still kind of getting used to it, but I thought it worked well. So that's what I'm using. It's the Colorful Contour by Sephora Collection in First Touch in 36. This is the Tarte dual-ended brush. I don't know if they still sell this, but it was my mom's. I used to use it, then I stopped, and then I just went back to it. The way that I put on contour is like bronzer. I really like the look of it being diffused into the skin instead of just like a harsh line on me, because I've actually tried baking before and I've tried like the harsh line on me for contour and like it doesn't look good on me. I don't know why, but it doesn't. So I just do like the very diffused look. It just brings like really nice diffused shadows onto my skin without looking harsh. I bring that up on my forehead. I'll literally like bring all my hair to one side when I do this. Now I'm gonna go into my Too Faced Mr. Right Perfect Powder Brush. You can use this for any powder that you want. It looks like this. It's only on the Too Faced website, but I haven't stopped using it for bronzer. Like, even my mom has one and she loves it. So this is the It Cosmetics Ombre Radiance Anti-Aging Bronzer. It's an ombre bronzer, although I've had it for over a year, so it doesn't really look like that so much anymore. And I dug my nail into it. Whoops. Swirl that around. Put on right over my contour. This is actually what I do, like the flipping hair, that's not me like trying to look dramatic, that's actually what I do. This is my all-around face makeup routine, what I do for work. Now I can go into highlight. It's the Becca Moonstone. This didn't really show that well in my last video, like the color, because so overexposed. That's generally what it looks like. I know that James Charles trick of putting on highlight after you set your face, so I still do that, but I always put on highlight before setting my face. It's just a habit. But when I do put it on after setting spray, especially with this highlight, it's almost blinding. I also learned this trick from him, to put it above the eyebrows on the forehead. It makes the biggest difference, I swear. He knows so much. I'm not really sure like the type of blush I want to do. I'll hold the two blushes up to my eyes and like whatever looks better with my crease. Technically this shade, I'll do that. Actually, this could go too. Always put this one on first. Poppin' Peach by Too Faced. Only one shade. It's a brightening blush. And I'll use my Ulta Contour Bronzer brush, but I always use it for blush. And I'll do that first, and then I'll put my Bare Minerals one on over it. The Bare Minerals Gen Nude blush in Calm My Blush. It's a newer blush that I got. It looks kind of dark in the pan, but it's actually not. I think a lot of their blushes look dark in the pan, but once you actually put it on your face, not what it looks like in the pan, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. But it is very pigmented, as you can see, so you kind of have to be careful. With blush, you definitely want to blend upward. If I think it looks too intense, I'll go over it with my powder brush. It just brings so much life to my face. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over lightly and fast, just so it's not too intense. Now I'm gonna finish on my brows. This is the Precisely My Brow Pencil. I already used two products on my brows before. See how much better that looks. Yeah, I just say how far I've actually come on my brows. It's especially in the past couple months. Alright, well, you know what? That's as good as it's gonna get. This is like so bushy, and this is like, I'm perfect. Benefit Cosmetics 24-hour brow setter. Usually this will make everything look better if I mess up on a brow. Morphine Jaclyn Hill JH43 brush, like I mentioned in my last video. It's my favorite lower lash line brush. I just used amber, but I did like it's super light. It's kind of dark. Usually when this happens, I'll take, I don't have it anymore, but I have my finger at the moment, so I'm gonna use my finger. Just gonna go over that shadow, just kind of like neutralize it. And if you want, you can put mascara on your bottom lashes. I don't, because of course from sun damage I get wrinkles at a young age, and it really like highlights those wrinkles when I smile, so I don't like it. And my under eyes are being weird right now. It's a very matte foundation, the one I'm wearing. What I used the other day on this foundation, what made this look so hydrated, like my skin looks so hydrated and dewy, is this Too Faced Hangover RX 3-in-1 replenishing primer and setting spray. So you can use it as just a refreshing spray like the Mario Badescu sprays. You can use it as a priming spray or a setting spray. And it smells like coconut. It's silicone free, alcohol free, and oil free. Same with the primer. I'd say this spray has like a more prominent coconut smell than the primer. It's super refreshing though. It's cold and it feels great. This is so much faster. Now going back into my highlight, I'm putting that on the high points of my face. Well, right now, I'm feeling myself. That's all I can say. Taking the same highlight, using my mermaid angled brush. I do recommend more like a thicker angled brush. Don't stop focusing on my face. Than like a really thin one. Also, I think this look would look really good with winged eyeliner, but that's something I'm practicing and don't want to mess up any looks with. So also this hangover spray, and it could just be because my face is a little bit drier in the winter than it usually is. It feels like a little bit tight right here. Oh, you're gonna really see that difference. It goes away though. Man, I should just go out. It's a Thursday, why not? Just kidding, I won't be going out. This would be a good going out look though. Like if you just had an all black outfit, poppin'. So I'm actually not sure what I used as my lip color. I might have used my Marc Jacobs more nude gloss that I used in my last tutorial, but I just decided to use the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Lip Lacquer in Can't Even. It's one of my go-to shades besides the Marc Jacobs one. This one's just a little bit more pink, and it lasts longer through food and drink. As you can see, it's very juicy though. You have to be careful with this though, and go real thick real quick. And I'm talking like thick with 2 C's, maybe 3. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really had fun filming it, even though I didn't plan on doing my face, but I mean, it came out pretty good. My under eyes are a little bit dry, so ignore that. Really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know in the comments if you want more tutorials with this. If you do, just please comment that, but if you don't, I'm not gonna know, you know? I hope you stuck around. If you did, please subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos on beauty, makeup, inspirational videos. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload right then and there. And I hope you have a great day right now. I hope you have a great night because it's night for me, but in general, I hope you have a great day whenever you are watching this. I will see you in my next video. Bye!